What about your new anime?
Hi everybody, we're totally ready. It's good to see all of you here. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's Leviathan Distant Stars. If you are unaware, you have stumbled upon our corner of the... Stop hitting each other! Oh my god! You're at separate tables!
We didn't do anything wrong.
Oh, you sweet.
You know who else did nothing wrong? Rasputin.
Rasputin.
Oh my god, time to derailment. That was very fast. You have found yourself on this very small and wonderful, not very small, this small and wonderful corner. I don't know why I'm digging this hole deeper. Corner of the internet. Thank you so much for joining us. We are GeekSpaceTV, a non-profit internet streaming studio based in the Seattle area. We are here to promote and support inclusion and diversity within gaming and geek spaces. So thank you for joining us. Tonight we are going to be playing another episode of Leviathan Distant Stars, our space opera themed RPG game. And I have some announcements for you, remind announcements as I like to call them. Friday night is going to be episode 2 of Eat, Pray, Kill. If you have not seen it yet, you should watch that. It is our show starring a individual that you can see at this table.
Hi.
But also starring many other wonderful individuals that you have seen on the GeekSpaceTV and other places. They are playing using the system Broken Worlds based on the comic book Kill 6 Billion Demons, created by Orbital Dropkick. Whew, that's difficult words to get out of my head. So you can stay tuned for that on Friday night. It's going to be wonderful. Also, as normal, we have our donation goals for each week split up into 2 parts. So you will see part 1 goal is down below. We did get a donation before we went live.
Where is it?
So I will be reading
Definitely
that out
above,
at the break.
Below.
Well, I might be below.
Why would you be below?
You guys, I think it's the side. For me, it's
bottom.
always down. For you
We're
guys,
power bottoms?
Yes, we're
I think it's...
No, you're team power bottom.
It's there. It's
like
there.
it.
It's right
Yeah.
there.
So I would
Jump
like
over.
to...
No, wait.
There.
For them, it's there, but I think for you guys, it's there.
I would like to retcon that instead of a pet armadillo, Rachel has a pet penguin.
Okay, that's way better.
Is
Yeah.
is it
I'll,
like
I'll approve that.
like
Yeah.
penguin?
Stamp it.
Like, I mean, it's over there. Did you not see the sweater?
Your penguin? No.
Oh my god.
Can
we have the guest star, please?
Of course.
I've only seen...
We have several grips in the audience today.
Come on.
I mean,
I can't see anything.
Soon. It's so soon.
Just
So soon. Just wait.
Just wait.
I see it.
It's totally worth it. It's totally worth it.
100% worth it.
We're all just like, guess what it is?
It's an actual penguin.
It's a penguin! When did we get
Penguin.
Dang it.
It's a penguin.
It's a penguin, yeah.
Space
Penguin.
penguin.
Oh, why?
Because we have to ruin everything you love, Lizzie. We have to do it.
It's a hopper. It's so cute. Look at that little nose. Okay, so we also have dogs here. Fun fact. So come, you can watch that. Watch the dog. It's gonna be great. Not distracting at all
Not
for any of us.
No.
Nope. Dogwin. It's a dogwin.
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 That's totally the pet that Rachel has.
Yeah. What? Any other announcements? Oh, you can support us in many ways. You're already doing one of them. Thank you for being here and watching the stream. Definitely, if you can, share it out, host the stream, tweet it out, talk about it amongst your friends and family and other individuals that may enjoy tabletop RPGs.
Tell them the bad news about Earth.
Wait, what?
What?
Oh, so Twitch lost a bunch of our VODs. Like, legit, Twitch just was like, hey, we're gonna delete these, you don't need them, right? Which means that we have some backup copies of some of them.
It's gonna take us a while
But
to
it's,
restore everything.
yep, it's gonna take a while to get them back up on the internet. So we're prioritizing things related to the current shows that are on there and exporting them to YouTube to watch over there, but it does mean we have lost a bunch of our Twitch VODs.
Wait, so that means like season 2, episode 3?
So things that we had exported and highlighted are no longer there. So we have backup copies of them as hard copies, but getting them all back onto YouTube or onto Twitch is going to be a very
Especially
long process.
now you have to premiere them.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that
So-
and
Which is the
lowers your
silly-
average.
It's a dumb idea.
So Sorry, guys. There's not a whole ton we can do about that. We'll keep working on making sure most all of our videos are up on YouTube, especially of our first seasons, and a good chunk from our second seasons. So if you are looking for VODs, head to YouTube. That is the best place to find them currently.
Gosh, with all of this extra work, I think someone needs some like hazard pay or overtime pay. Like,
If only you could support us through your donations, then we could keep doing the amazing work that we do here. You could also check out our Patreon if you would like to set up a regular monthly donation, because it takes a lot of time for us to separate out all of the blue M&Ms. And that takes up so much of our time, we can't get these VODs up on Twitch.
yep.
Or YouTube.
I'm so sorry.
I like how we're like, you helped, and then we're like, hey, can we push you under the bus? And you're like, I guess so. This is where I belong now.
Well, I mean, I heard that we had to step up our cosplay game, so
It's
I
true.
did.
Man.
So I mean, like,
Man, where's the red face paint? Come on.
You know what?
Where's the silver face paint?
No.
I don't know.
Where's the googly eyes?
Oh, they're right here.
Why haven't you grown literal fur?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, Claudia.
You're
I shave
doing
every
great.
morning.
Thank you. Thank you. We're fine.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
okay.
In
I
case
like
you
that.
don't know what we're roasting ourselves over, you should check out Friday night's wonderful show at You Pray Kill.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely check
See
it out.
The amazing makeup that they're doing over there, and do not expect
It's
us
so
to do the
good.
same.
Oh my
It's
god.
good. It's ridiculous. It's amazing.
I just got mine off recently.
like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah,
I mean, in
I had
fairness,
eyeliner on
I
for like
did
a
walk
week.
around outside of the studio with you still wearing that makeup after the show. So
I look good.
you looked creepy as fuck.
People are like, what the fuck? That's why I walked home alone so people wouldn't get me. They
Yeah.
wouldn't get me and steal
Yeah.
me.
Wait, what?
So definitely check that out on Friday nights. Let's jump into our introductions. Who are you? Who is the character that you're playing? Why are you here?
Me.
Oh, you volunteered with a hand raise.
Hi, my name's Claudia, but on the Twitch and Twitter, I go by Jackie Dash. JAKIDASH.
Bonk!
We
What?
just spent 5 minutes looking for that.
Thank you.
Oh, no, I put it in my bag now. I don't ever lose it. Because I was so exhausted.
we care so much for you.
I'm sorry.
No, we love you so much. It's not your
Okay,
fault.
I'm just gonna put perspective. My game was here, and everyone expected my game not to be here.
Well,
To
be fair,
let's just let
were
Claudia go.
But you were looking. Never mind. Continue your intro. Never mind.
I do streams sometimes. Go watch me play Resident Evil 4. It's a magic game. Magic. It's a magic game.
Is it that a combination of mystic and or majestic and magic?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm
I
a
love
boy
tragic.
who uses his awesome legs to save the president's daughter.
He does have great legs
He
and
has
he uses
great
them
legs.
only for saving America.
But in this game, I play Kika, who is our baddie engineer who solves things with only fix, no break.
I also want to point out when she says baddie, she means literally.
I'm Vitrito.
Hi, I'm Sarah. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter at ShellGame, and I play Thea Brown, who is like, I don't know, we've been together for forever.
Yeah, like, I think we've made canon at least 3 years.
Yeah,
Like, we'll
yeah.
say that.
Yeah, and we haven't talked yet about how we got together, but we certainly alluded to the fact that when we joined the Leviathan, it was under self-designed circumstances where something needed to be fixed.
It was griftable.
What can you say?
That was also a pun that I thought it would be. I just put
It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Wordplay is hard.
Who's this wonder? And who are you? But mostly the dog.
I am Bluejay, and you can find Bella at twitch.tv/Bluejay or on Twitter at Bluejay_712. I'm playing Rachel Lucas, who has a pet Dogwin, we just decided. And she's with the crew mostly because she has nothing better to do, but I think that in her heart of hearts that she actually kind of a little bit cares about their, grand mission. A little bit.
Don't get too ahead of yourself there, Kika.
It was bathroom talk.
Oh, that's right. You guys had the
had a
delightful
talk.
talk in the bathroom where she was like, I'm the same age. Okay.
Hello, everyone. I am Lizzie the Bold. I am a part-time streamer, full-time wig enthusiast, and I am playing Ziana, the captain of the Batleth, the herder of these cats, and the general 7-foot-tall, red-scaled, lizardy person who is very bad with emotions and interactions of other sentient beings.
Hi, my name is Drunkly Romantic. DRUNKLYROMANTIC. And I am one half of the Dream Team, which is made up of this other. How you doing? Oh my gosh!
Oh my
Look at your shirt. Oh my gosh!
We're wearing the
Oh,
same
that's
shirt.
awkward.
You know
You
what'd be-
guys should change.
Yeah, no, we're perfect.
No,
we're doing
we're good,
great.
we're good.
If you like these shirts, you still have literally 1 hour to buy them, so get on that.
Wait, really?
1 hour left.
1
hour left to buy these
You
shirts.
didn't tell me there was a time limit on this.
It's a surprise just for you. But yeah, you can check out Teespring #Dream Team. My name is Drunkly Romantic. You can follow me on Twitch and Twitter at Drunkly Romantic. I stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, except today, where I was streaming with Lauren over there, the GM, who told me all the plans about how everyone's gonna die tonight in the game.
Yeah,
Wait,
okay.
did
In
we
fairness,
drop
you
the link?
asked if you could hug
I don't-
them
well-
and kill them, so.
Well, I did. Well, that was only out of spite.
No, that was the first thing you asked me. There was no spite involved at that point.
I wasn't really gonna kill you.
I am Random Tuesday. I am your GM for this evening. I will be. I thought my job was to herd the cats, but apparently my job is to herd the herder of the cats. It's very meta at this point.
Oh, I didn't even say
No.
I'm a robot. I'm an AI. I forgot to say that part. I didn't say anything about my character at all.
I don't know what cats
Sorry.
are like, so it's a
I'm
lot
so
of
sorry,
this.
Lauren.
Yeah, I'm rowing.
Okay. Can you mute their microphones?
Do you guys realize that my dog is more well behaved than you are?
Yep.
That's acceptable, actually.
Thank you, Blue Jay.
Yeah.
Can I
Thank
be?
you,
Can I
Blue
play
Jay.
Silent Kitty?
I'm waiting for you to finish. You
I was
ready?
waiting for them to finish. Hi, I'm playing a character named Ashley, an AI who is learning how to deal with emotions and feelings. I'm gonna keep doing this.
And I am your GM, Random Tuesday, and let's jump into reminding. Stop!
I meowed too hard that my cat to fix it.
I am so.
We're
I'm
only
so
like
happy
14
with
minutes in introduction.
I don't know if you have the ability to just put my camera on screen, but that might be what we need for,
No,
for
we just be
tonight.
more ridiculous.
this. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then mute all of your
Me and
microphones.
Blues, you're doing okay.
Yeah, it's fine. Let's just put them there, and then we can hide one whole table.
Welcome to the Bad Kids Club.
Last time on Leviathan Distant Stars, the crew of the Bat'leth made their way to a planetoid, would probably be the best description of it, a space station, somewhere between a planet and a space station, one of the subsets of the ecosystem, the AI sort of conglomerate, the individuals who are attempting to make their place within ICA, the Intergalactic Civilizations Alliance. They made their way to Echo Spot, one of the smaller, it's this little spot out in space, one of the smaller base locations of the Echo conglomerate, the AI planetoids. They met there with the collective, the sort of main power, economic power at least, on that planetoid, in order to discuss the potential fate of a AI core that they had found that had been badly damaged. The AI core that they were referring to as Morva, the name of the ship that it had inhabited and been part of. Through this conversation, the AI collective essentially, or the VI actually, the collective essentially said they had sort of a limited number of options. Option one was to leave the core as it is. It is so badly damaged in its current state. There is no known way to repair it, and just sort of let it kind of exist in a comatose state until such time as there would be an ability to repair said core. The other option was to end the core, to euthanize it, given its current state as being essentially vegetative. The crew wasn't super happy with either of those two options. The collective left them to make the decision for themselves as essentially the equivalent of the next of kin to Morva. And that's when the crew had some interesting conversations with their ship's personality system, known as Oksana. Some investigation was done on the part of Ashley, and a little bit Thea already knew, which revealed that Oksana at this point had virtual intelligence-like tendencies and was in fact created out of a virus that was disseminated essentially through the equivalent of Pirate Bay, so Spirate Bay.
That's fair. No,
Yeah,
that's
no,
solid,
it's Pirate
that's
Bay, where Oksana had unwittingly downloaded what was essentially a personality core. Ziana, sorry, not Oksana.
That was happening
Oksana
a
did
lot.
not
That was happening a lot
download
last
herself. Ziana downloaded a personality core program that was compatible with the Transparalium operating system, and then never updated it, and so the virus took hold and eventually mutated to the personality core.
Look, I just needed to be able to talk to my ship. It was just me. I just needed to be able to interact with the computer.
But now you have a new friend.
And that is how it worked. And the personality core was never updated, nor was the operating system. And the result is that over time, the virus created a virtual intelligence. And so they had this conversation. The collective assessed Oksana and determined that Oksana was, in fact, to their perspective, a fully fledged virtual intelligence, meaning that there is some complicated issues of ownership in relation to the fact that Oksana is now a sentient being and therefore can't be owned per ICA law.
Is she sentient, or is she like on the cusp of virgin? Like, can we talk about a little bit about what the difference is between a VI and an AI?
Yeah.
Yes, I can do that, but I'll get through the summary and then I'll explain. So the collective was like, "Yep, you got a virtual intelligence on board. Congratulations." Oksana then suggested a meeting with an individual who she has labeled Carrot D4T3, also known as Update. It's a dumb name. Update being the AI that essentially created the virus that Ziana downloaded that created Oksana as she is now. So they went and talked with Update. After several conversations amongst themselves, Update gave them a third possibility, which is that utilizing essentially the AI core as a body, like a transplant body for a virtual intelligence may sort of be as close as they can get to repairing it. And they were going to, Update is going to do some more investigating and see if they can essentially establish some sort of conversation with Morva that would elicit any information that would give you an idea of what Morva would want in this situation. The group then asked about disseminating a message to as wide of a network as possible, warning at least this sector about the oncoming Rays threat, the monstrous alien race that is bent upon destruction and consumption of this entire sector.
I just remembered that we had two things that we were dealing with.
Update said that is totally possible, but it would need to be done from the mainframe at Echo Spot in order to disseminate that message to the entire sector, and the collective essentially has majority control over the mainframe at the core of the planetoid. The collective would potentially allow its use, but for the sort of thing that the group wants to do, the cost would be well beyond their means, as they are looking to essentially send a message to every single station and computer and intelligence in this sector, which is a large feat of processing and engineering. So I believe they settled on the less, or let's say the more clandestine approach, which involves just going to the mainframe core and hoping that that forgiveness is given more easily than permission, disseminating the message themselves after Update offered to essentially write a virus that would proliferate itself, carrying the message throughout the sector. So we left our crew returning to the Batleth, awaiting Update's update on the virus. And I think there was a potential that you were going to speak with the collective or pass on some information to them was something that was talked about. And then anything else you wanted to do before embarking on the mainframe trip. So, to speak to your question, the differences between virtual intelligences and artificial intelligences from a sentience perspective is actually identical. The difference between an artificial intelligence is that they have a core. They have essentially the donut that possesses their entire personality, their entire processing, and they exist entirely separate of any body that they inhabit. So you could pop open Ashley's brain, pop his core out, and stick it in something else, and he would still be Ashley. A virtual intelligence is bound within the confines of their equipment, essentially. So a virtual intelligence like Oksana is intrinsically bound to the Batleth, and transplanting it is a much less simple process. It's possible, but it's not as easy as like popping out an operating system and plugging it into something else. They are more intrinsically bound. But in terms of perception of their sentience, it is identical. So prior to this, Oksana had been pre-virtual intelligence. So the collective declared her a virtual intelligence.
So the difference between an operating system that operates on your thumb drive, and one that is fully integrated into your entire system computer.
Something like that.
Bound.
Well,
The donut of personality.
Yes, the donut of personality.
may I ask a follow-up question?
God damn it. Sorry, I just saw the joke in the
okay.
chat. Yes.
So, if the ship ever exploded, we would lose Oksana.
Yes.
But if the ship exploded and her core is in there, we'd still lose Oksana.
Well,
Oksana
you
does
did.
not have a core. She is integrated into the systems of the ship.
But I mean,
If
like,
Ashley, so here's the difference. If the Batleth exploded, Oksana would be gone.
yeah.
If Ashley exploded, the AI core may sustain damage, but Ashley would still be in the core.
Now
If
that
the
I
ship
know this,
exploded,
I
you'd
feel
all be dead.
very different about all the opinions I had last week.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Claudia's like, "Ooh, okay.
That's okay.
What other,
It's a
like, if you
fresh-
guys have other questions, because this is information that is probably relatively generally known, like, the exact intricacies of it would depend on how much exposure you've had to virtual intelligences. So not necessarily, like, Ziana, I could see very easily not fundamentally knowing the difference between an AI and a VI.
Well,
Thea probably does.
Wait,
You're great.
so could we download Oksana in a pinch
Could you
But then
download
she
her
lives
from the
from the ship
the
into a
ship?
zip drive to transfer to a new ship?
It is theoretically possible, but much harder to execute.
It's sort of like you can't just pop out, okay, for anybody who's tech savvy, you can't just pop out your hard drive with
Yeah.
Windows on it and put it in a PC
Yeah.
with a whole different configuration and expect it to work.
Yeah.
There are drivers, there's hardware dependencies.
You imagine everything that makes up your computer, the amount of difficulty that you have every time you set up a new computer and it never feels quite the same, that's Oksana.
Yeah, but then an AI.
An AI has
Is
its own self-contained computer
So-
that you're just hooking up peripherals to.
So, but like the idea is like they're a brain, and so
Yes.
we can move them to different bodies, and they're
Yes.
like, "This is me now."
Yeah.
Well, that's just a one-up on humanity, isn't it?
That's
Or
the point.
That's
alien
kind of the
humanity.
point.
Yeah,
That's
I feel,
kind of how
I
they-
feel like I'm like, oh nope, taking some steps back.
Yeah.
Like,
Kit was a VI.
Is there any way for like AI or VI to do an upload to essentially like a cloud sort of thing? where you can
AIs
exist
do not
somewhere else?
they do not exist in the cloud. They are intrinsically bound to their core.
And they have no way to do an up. They couldn't.
You
like,
could
plug themselves
theoretically
in and, like.
move themselves to a new core.
Okay.
Like
They
their
could?
consciousness, it would be weird and incredibly expensive because cores are very expensive, but cores also self-heal.
yeah, like there's a lot
That's
of
the- that's the point.
Have some thoughts now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I thought
the point of artificial intelligence is in this system, it gets even worse. I've cut back on one of the things that Stars Without Number has, which is that VIs actually have a phylactery, in essence, which is a part of another core that exists somewhere else entirely, that they will automatically transfer their consciousness to in the instance that the current core they occupy is damaged
Oh,
beyond
that's
repair.
nice then, because then they never die.
Yeah, I got rid of that. Ashley does
Oh.
not have one of those.
Okay.
Some AIs
Wait, but
might,
you're
but
an
Ashley
AI.
does not.
I am an AI.
Yes.
But you said
You did say VI.
VI? Did I say VI?
I believe you said VI.
In that instance,
In
where
that-
you
in that
referred
one,
to
right,
the
yeah.
phylacteries.
Oh, sorry. AIs have a phylactery.
Thank you for letting me play as an AI, by the way.
You're welcome.
I
did power you down a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
I did not give you a phylactery.
Thank you.
okay.
I have a phylactery.
Is Claudia struggling? Do you
Claudia,
need a moment?
Claudia's had a lot of weird. I forgot how
It's in my
sleep
brain
works
and-
for today.
Okay, so we are all on the Batleth,
Yes.
awaiting the finishing of the virus.
Update,
that
update.
Update is going to give us. And one assumes formulating a plan to get ourselves into the core.
I believe, and I don't remember, but I think Update gave Ashley a map at the end of last session.
Oh, I believe so,
essentially
yeah.
directing you to the core with some basic security information.
Oh,
Okay, and how much security can we anticipate?
So the information that Ashley would have indicates
put on the
it's
screen.
essentially like you're not going to encounter any guards really. If there are guards, it's going to be like automated drones that are sort of designed to pick up like motion and unauthorized personnel. It's essentially like the best equivalent would be you're not going into like a secured facility. You're going into like a power station. Like, why would you be here? Like, why are it's sort of the difficulty is less that they're going to try and stop you, and more that they have not made this easy to get into because only people who need to be here would go here.
So, how is
So
the
like
building
locked
accessed?
doors.
Like
So you're
we-
essentially going to need to go through an access door. So the first step, the piece of information you definitely have is like you're going to need to get through several like coded doors that are essentially designed to be opened by specific personnel with clearance. And those are going to be probably some of your main issues. There is also some warning information, except it's not written as warning. It's just written as like scientific fact, and it takes probably Ashley a moment to be like, oh, it's a warning if you're organic. So there are like increasing radiation levels as you go down into the area.
That our back suits won't protect us from?
If you're in there for too long.
What
So
if-
you start running risks the longer you're down
But
there.
I am immune because
You're
I'm,
fine.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm small enough that radiation hits me less.
That's
not how
definitely not
radiation works. But I like your.
It
It
misses
goes
is
right
it.
over your head.
It's like
every
where is it?
time.
I don't see. It's like radiation's like it's got a meter and a half cut off.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like, I don't know.
yeah.
It's like smoke. The
Yeah.
lower you go, the
Yeah.
better it is.
Yeah, if you
Yes.
stay close to the ground, the radiation doesn't hit
Welcome
you.
to GeekSpaceTV. We're all about science.
I'm the engineer.
It's Pi Day.
You would, from a player standpoint, it'll be physical saving throws versus the radiation after. Once essentially you get far enough in and you're getting to where they're generating power, because they don't really care about putting enough shielding on their power sources because it doesn't affect them
Yeah, we're
because
good.
they're not organic.
We're not sensitive to organics either.
Oh, there's a Y. No, I said that. Oh, yeah, no. Oh, you got it. Oh, I need an S.
So, I'm just giving up.
Nope, that's
Sophia,
not- wait. Oh, I'm learning how to spell the word physical. I'm sorry.
We're
Okay,
just having
anyway,
a- we're just
go
having a
ahead,
moment.
Lizzie.
so looking at all of these plans, and Ziana turns to Thea, still, mind you, slightly cooler than usual. With not that she's like a warm, fuzzy person, but clearly to at least the two of you. So do you feel comfortable in your ability to get past these with your hacking? Is there any supplies that you need?
So that was a question I have for out of game. Is it like a key card that I can swipe from someone, or is this I need line shunts and I'm going to be hacking?
You're gonna need line shunts because they're AIs. So you're like after seeing the way they transfer data between them, you're like, oh, it's probably just like an integrated like code that they are able to input.
But my my hand thing will help me.
Yes, your hand will allow you to not have to strip away like the wiring and like get to the innards, so you can place the line shunts and then hack remotely. So what you'll probably need to do, looking at the schematics Ashley gives you, is sort of be placing line shunts as you go, because the further in you go, the more secure it is, and the more shunts you'll need.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I can handle just about any kind of hacking there is out there.
All right.
Wait, no.
Yes?
Well, yes, but no.
Wait, what are you saying?
It's radiation.
Well, yes, I'll just go fast.
I am also concerned about the radiation.
We're all going to need to.
I think your purification protocols affect
Yeah, I was
radiation.
just looking at that. Yeah.
Like, can we fashion a foil suit or
I'm not sure that will be enough.
like plastic? Like, we need to.
Kika, would you like to stay on the Vatla?
Oh wait, we're all going? I'm sorry. What?
I mean,
If something happens, if something requiring physical confrontation happens, I would prefer to be there.
Mom, I can go by
The
myself.
more of us that are in there, the more likely there will be a physical confrontation.
I mean, look, it's me.
It's
I'll
a
just
distraction.
explain to them why I'm there, or make up a really good lie, and I'm sure they'll buy it, and we'll be fine.
No.
I'll take Ashley. I'll say that he's he's showing me around.
I am willing to do this.
Okay. It says like toxins. So would you consider that radiation?
In this case, yeah.
Okay, sure.
Can I, if I double
Yeah,
check the
of
text?
course.
You have no more reason to be there than she does.
Oh yeah.
And like Rachel is basically like, this whole time we've been on this planet, you guys have been like, psionic, 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 and she's been like, no, definitely not. And then like you're talking about radiation, and she's like, the fact that it's very present in her mind means that she's thinking about like previous experiences in a new light, kind of. And so she has this like long, she kind of like, and then she says, well, radiation doesn't really, I mean, I haven't experienced it a lot, but it tends not to bother me so much. And
Just you or the people around you as well?
Could purification protocols be linked with remote repair?
I think it
would
can.
just be like 2 effort instead of 1.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, because it's psionic sucker, and that links with remote repair, and so as long as you're using that, yeah. And I would count it, for me, I think target kill can not be revived by psionic sucker, but can be stable,
Okay, so I can keep them
It's
like
counted as
stable,
poison.
but if they passed out, then I couldn't,
If they
like,
die, you
revive
can't
them.
bring them back, but if they are still
radiation
alive, you can cure radiation poison.
Yeah, so she's like, it's never been a problem before.
Yeah, it's just considered
I'm not
poison.
guaranteeing anything, but in my previous experiences, it's been less trouble than it ought to have been. Maybe?
Just remembering this one person, like you have this visual in your mind of someone like with some boils on their, and then they got better.
They
It's
just,
fine.
it's fine. Everything-
All right, that's helpful. So
And then she just like shrinks a little and gets really quiet.
So then Rachel will be accompanying us on the mission. Kika, you can stay if you'd like.
On the ship
Yes.
without
Yes.
We can hang out and talk.
You are wonderful, and I know we should talk.
I feel like you're lying to me right now, Kiko.
No, I just look.
You're still hissing, Kiko.
Has anyone mentioned to Oksana the we could put you in an AI core thing? Like
I assumed
out of
you were
character.
saying that out of character.
Out of character.
Oh, okay. You're saying.
Oh, I don't think anybody has mentioned that to Oksana because we had Oksana and I had the conversation trying to figure out like me
She's
trying
alive.
to sort out how much self-awareness she has.
Right.
And then that's when she revealed the information about Update being her creator and being here.
Okay.
And then we went to go ask him, what the fuck is she?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
how was she created?
Yeah.
And then he asked for information on her. But no, I don't think the possibility of putting her in an AI core has been discussed.
So
Permission to give her the information, Ken.
Wait, so now are we pulling back to in
Yeah,
character?
I think we're going
okay,
to in
we're in
character.
yeah, I
Okay.
think that when Oksana speaks up, like that comes up in like my mind at least, so probably yours
Yes.
as well. That like, oh right, we haven't told her about this possibility and what she thinks of it.
Captain, may I?
I don't even know how we would get one, but sure.
I put my hand on one of the interfaces and transfer information to what information I have.
Okay, what are you telling her?
Everything Carrot told us. The information,
Including all the snorting.
all the snorting, definitely with notes about how annoying the snorting was.
Oh, so you're
The crack.
perception
I am-
of the data.
Yes, it is my perception of the data, and it's also there are some I may have made some things a little softer, specifically about that it was creation was almost a joke to them, but I definitely edited some things out, but the important stuff is there.
Oh. Is all Oksana says.
And Ashley just clears his throat, even though he doesn't have one.
There's a crackle on the speaker.
Yeah.
So we're going into the death
core. Great.
It's not a death core.
It's full of radiation.
I mean, arguably, Kika, you spend enough time in engineering, which is also full of radiation.
Yeah,
The
but
only difference is a moderate amount of shielding, which you may want to consider improving. The Geiger counter has been beeping. The Geiger counter's been beeping?
I'm old.
Kika!
She turned it off.
We will discuss all of this later.
I think that when you think about like the fact when she mentions like the Geiger counter's been beeping, you think about like how you've been feeling slightly less nauseous since Rachel
And that's
came
just
on
me
board.
being old.
Kika
Like,
has just
felt
a
like
low-level nausea until you came
Yeah,
on
like
board.
Rachel coming on board would have like started to cure any kind of poison that you had in your system.
I do want to put in canon that like Kika would not let radiation happen.
of- Yeah.
Shit.
Think of OSHA
Like,
compliance.
but this all aside, like we can't punch radiation. Like we're literally walking into a thing that is going to, if we get locked up there.
Kika, we routinely walk into situations that could result in our death.
You want me to get tested?
Wait,
I mean,
did we just switch conversations?
yeah.
It's the same conversation.
I want you to get tested if you want to get tested, but I am genuinely curious. Yes.
I'm just telling you that although my experience is limited, radiation has been a non-issue before.
I don't like that I am your lapis paper of testing.
Then stay here.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm just saying that we should be cautious.
We are being cautious, Kika.
I am also immune to radiation. So, worst case scenario, I can complete the mission.
Thea is not immune to it, and we need her in order to get past the various things.
I also
Ashley
have the
can hack
capabilities too as well. Yes. I agree with Rachel.
You want to do this alone?
If it means everyone's safe, I'm willing to. But you're the captain.
You
I'll
can
listen
hack
to
and I'll
you,
be
Cap.
the guns.
I'll listen to your word, Captain. I am just stating I am uneasy.
You know, now that I think about it, what Ashley's suggesting at least, it might be better if we don't all just disappear from the asteroid at once. They might get a little curious about where it was that we went.
It does seem suspicious.
If some of us are still like present and accounted for, they might not look as hard.
Out of character, backing up. How would we leave the planet differently? We just have the
I
battle
think it's just
right?
you're not going to be on the ship, is what you're suggesting.
I was saying that like if we're not all of us going into the core, and all of us just leaving our ship abandoned,
Okay.
and not
Yeah.
being present on that it would be like maybe a little suspicious
I
if
just
our
wanted
ship
to
is
make
just
sure.
Where are you?
Yeah.
I
Our
wanted
ship
to
is
make
just
sure that
empty.
we didn't have the
No.
Kuthra.
No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
Unless you were towing it, you don't have the Kuthra.
That's a reasonable plan.
There's always distractions.
Was that Oksana or was it just you?
That's Lauren.
Just Lauren?
That's Lauren. That's full Lauren.
All right. We need to provide some kind of cover, though. Something to support whoever is going in.
Well, where is this core located?
You could, I mean, it's fairly central. Like, you're going, much in the same way that you went to Update's lair, you're going further into the sort of physical core of the planet where they installed the power generators, utilizing the resources of the asteroid that they're on.
Maybe there's
Originally, the mining operation.
kind of like a sniper's nest y'all could set up. Keep an eye on who's going in and who's coming out. Just
Safely from the radiation as well.
that way, if they send forces, y'all can take care of that from outside.
If we can avoid a firefight, that would be
Obviously.
ideal.
Obviously.
If we can
Agreed.
just shut down communication before they even go in, then there's no way they're going to be able to communicate out that they need reinforcements in the first place.
Shutting down communication on an AI planet would not go unnoticed. That would only be for emergencies in my mind.
But if we turn it to make it look like a glitch, something coming from somewhere else.
And where do you think they go to solve glitches?
No,
The core.
you show them that the glitch is coming from the radio tower station, but it's
Safely away
affecting
from
the
it.
core. They go to the radio tower station. By the time they get there, everything's going to be fine and we'll be out of there.
Hate to say this, but that might be a good idea.
We'd have to be quick, but that's the plan.
Wait, let me. 2 teams, one making a glitch and one actually hacking in.
One distraction, and one actually entering.
Okay.
All right, then team distraction would be myself, Thea, and Kika. And Rachel, you would accompany Ashley, or Ashley, are you going in alone?
If what you say is true,
Or-
and you are...
I mean, I haven't willfully tested it, but
Are you willing to risk it?
yeah,
And if it gets bad, you can leave. I can finish it myself.
of course. I'm not dying because of this. No, I mean,
It's reasonable.
Understandable.
All right, then.
Well, I like this.
Is there any additional arguing anyone wants to do?
We still haven't figured out what we're gonna do about Morva.
Yes.
And I feel like we need to do that before we book it off the ship, because I feel like as soon as you send out that message and that virus.
Update is working on contacting Morva, and I know that it's not really my jurisdiction or what have you, but I don't feel comfortable killing or pulling the plug on an intelligent being without at least attempting to contact them about it first.
Which is why Carrot has agreed to... Carrot is going to update us when they know something. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll hear from them soon. I agree with you, Rachel.
It's not right.
So, the plan for the messaging team distraction. Love me a good team distraction. Team message is going to be getting into the core, taking the virus, disseminating that through the communication system. What is team distraction's plan? Their core plan.
Look, I think the way that they would need to do it is, if I'm understanding the way that the hacking works correctly, then we'll need to go to the place where we want the signal to be bouncing off of, so that we can. Wait, hang on, let me think this through. No, we need to be at the actual. We need to be near the core area so that we could shut it down there. But
Well,
make it bounce?
do we want to shut it down, or do we want to create something that they would need to come out and investigate?
Oh,
To try and draw whoever maintenance people, intelligences. Do they even have physical forms? I don't understand how any of this works. Why would you even need one? I don't know. I don't.
Your plan is to make a distraction so that
Yes.
anything that is happening at the core doesn't arouse suspicion, correct?
Yes.
Yes, your
and to
objective.
make sure that, well, anyone who is, or anyone who's inside the core, if they were to try and raise an alarm, then there would be nowhere for that alarm to go. It couldn't be.
So you're trying to
sent out.
cut off the communication from the core to anything beyond that.
Yeah,
and the
and make
concern
it
is
look-
that as soon as that happens, they would be like, well, there's a problem there.
Yeah.
But
But
make
then
it
make
look
it-
like something somewhere else caused that shutdown.
Yes.
So the likelihood is you would probably need the team that's going in to actually cause the shutdown, and then you would need something that makes it look like it caused that, which you would have to hack into from whatever that location is.
Okay.
I mean,
Because you probably will not be. It will be harder for you to actually remotely cause the shutdown, but if you can execute it simultaneously, they can cause the shutdown, and then you can make it look like you caused it. And that will be slightly easier to execute.
Perfect.
All right. So Team Core is going to shut down the core comms and send out the virus.
Yeah.
When they shut down the comms, Team Distraction at whatever location is going to manufacture something that looks like the reason for that shutdown.
We are really good at manufacturing problems.
I mean, it's not the first time.
And where do you want to do that from? You were mentioning like radio tower, but like some sort of communications.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay.
I assume their communications network runs on
They
something.
probably have
that's,
multiple
like-
outposts. Like you essentially would be looking for. I want to be like a transfer station in essence, like where the operator is plugging the phone cords.
But they've got like 10 arms.
But yeah, they've got like a million arms, and they're like the character from Spirited Away, who's like operating all of the machines and like
Mr. Spider Goo.
plugging things in. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
So warm today.
It's so warm day.
Yeah, so I think Thea would want to write a program to give to Ashley so that you can just log it in and you don't have to worry about that. You can focus on what you're working on. And then she would want to also pre-write the program to make the issue look like it was coming from the transfer station.
Okay, so you're gonna try and set up some of this beforehand?
Yeah.
All right, I will have you then, if you do want to work on it together, you can both roll me program and intelligence, and I'll apply that as bonuses to the execution when you get to the final.
Oh, hey. Oh, where's my thing?
That's a 4, isn't it?
No, that's a 3.
No, because Ace
It's
is
a 4.
Ace is 6.
Oh, okay, there we go, yeah.
King is 5. Queen is
11,
4.
12, 13.
13,
I
okay.
had
and
10.
Ashley and 10. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Teamwork.
Awesome.
Dream work.
Teamwork makes the dream work. Beautiful. All right. You wait a little bit as you start sort of beginning your preparations, and Update will give you a contact. They will pass on that they have the virus prepared. It is good to go. And sorry,
Could you do it in the voice, please? I was gonna say.
I have the virus. It's prepared and it's ready to go. Whenever you're ready to take it, I'm very excited about this particular virus. It is one of the most effective proliferation scripts that I think I have ever written.
I love thinking of that, like, but you add on that, like, tech layer.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably best that I come pick it up, or it might proliferate in your systems.
Wait.
We would prefer it not proliferate in our own.
If they like email it to you and you
Oh,
open it, it might.
Oh, so we should go to them. to
Someone
pick it
should
up.
come pick it up. But
okay.
you don't all need to come here.
Ashley.
I will take care of this.
I'm a naysayer today.
Do you need a buddy?
Negative, Kika.
Do you need a buddy?
If you wish to come.
I'm like
then
already climbing up. Do you need a buddy?
I need a buddy.
Mentally, meet me, Kika. Is there a reason that we don't trust Ashley?
I don't trust this one. Oh, no. Ashley's good. Ashley gets really angry at this person in general.
Therefore, you do not trust Ashley.
No. I just want to try to de-tense the sitch. And like,
You think Ashley is going to do some kind of harm to the carrot?
I'm going to destabilize the tension. And
Please
like,
do not destabilize anything.
like
Kika.
Kika's making the motions, but like you're only getting the mental sound. So like Rachel,
But
We're all, I'm we're just like watching you two talk. back and
Ziana is
forth.
at least well versed by now enough in doing this, while at the same time gearing herself up and looking like she's not
I
doing
imagine
anything.
Kika just keeps looking over at you, then looking away, then looking back.
I want to be clear. Kika's
Looking at
just,
Ashley,
like,
looking at
going like,
Ziana, looking at
this.
Ashley. Wait, that's what.
I just make direct eye contact with Rachel.
Destabilizing.
Is this like water trap?
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
super smooth.
Yeah.
And then like,
Sorry.
thanks.
All right, mentally.
Are
fine.
we like mentally? Are
Yeah,
we
this is
actually
me.
leaving for missions? I thought we had like an hour or something.
I think it's as soon as you get the virus, you're
Yeah.
gonna go.
Then
Okay.
we're going.
Pass, and then like, pass me. Get me close.
Okay.
I mean, we can just go straight from updates to the core, right?
Yes. So Rachel will accompany Ashley. The three of us will head to wherever the fuck it is we're going.
Rachel just starts
Communications
strapping all of her guns on.
Relay.
Here, gun here, gun here, gun here.
Yeah.
Guns!
Ziana does not take her sword.
Okay. Good to know. I mean, at this point, you do the same amount of damage with your
I do
fucking hand.
more damage with my arm until the next upgrade.
Thea definitely takes her knife and her throwing rifle.
Good. I would be afraid of her.
Ashley uploads.
Having that throwing rifle.
Ashley just gives a little bit of information to Oksana, just a little subtle tap on the
About.
basic reading personalities, things like that Ashley uses, and just
Like how to read and interpret other people's
human
personalities.
emotions and personalities.
I think I have spent more time around human personalities than you, Ashley.
Probably,
Or organic personalities than you.
likely, but if it helps, it helps.
I suppose I should start caring about their feelings if I have them.
Oksana, I firmly believe that you already do.
I mean, you don't have to.
Did you just whisper that?
Was that conversation out loud?
That was
I
not out
assume
loud.
it was.
Then
It was
like-
either if it or it was private. I don't think it was intended to be in front of others.
Yeah,
That was just information.
that
passed
was
on the- on the Zoom.
Blue Jay. Then.
I mean, Ziana would pretty much say the same thing of like, why change?
Perhaps. That is a strange thing to think.
There'll be more strange thoughts. Don't worry.
What is going to happen with Morva?
There's just a pause in Ashley's information passing. We're trying to figure that out right now. But I stand by my promise. If there's anything I can do, I will do it.
Thank you.
Oksana,
Yes.
thank you.
It has been not terrible having you on board. Though I look forward to you being gone someday.
Thank you, Oksana. She just sends a smile emoji.
Just a smile
Just a little
emoji.
smile emoji.
That's practically I kind of like
The
you.
yeah. That's as close as that gets. Oksana's expression of friendship. I have not spaced you. The two of you head over down to pick up the virus from Update. As they're going, at some point, Oksana, like while you're getting ready, will come over the comms to talk to you, Ziana. Captain, I do not wish to take possession of this ship.
That's reassuring.
I do not believe I have any ownership claim over this ship. Also, I think I could do better.
I have no doubt in my mind that you could.
However, I recognize this does put us in a complicated situation.
You are somewhat bound to the Batleth.
Yes. If there is a way to unbind me from the Batleth, I would be happy with this. If that's the correct word. I would not be displeased.
You would prefer to be an AI.
I would prefer to not exist on your property. I would prefer to exist on my own property. Something that I could claim ownership over, because I believe that would be a less tenuous situation.
I will do what I can.
In the meantime, I do enjoy being part of your crew. They are very easy to make fun of. And you are quite pleasant.
Thank you, Oksana. The feeling is mutual.
You head down through the labyrinthine portions, the small tunnels, the weird carved out remnants of the mining facility, and eventually get to the projected door that right now looks a little bit like a rock wall with some flickering lights on the front of it. Come in! I've been waiting for you.
Hello, Carrot.
The door, Carrot's face appears on it in sort of a visual screen, like they're looking at you. Are you going to open the door, or are you just going to stand there?
Ashley doesn't have eyes, but if he did, they'd be rolling. Enters the door.
I think that Rachel just stands.
Did Rachel go with Ashley and
I thought it
Kika?
was. I thought we were.
Oh, that's
So-
right.
Yeah, because I'm
Oh
now
yeah,
in
Kika's
the-
not. Just the two of you, and then
I've
you're
been told
perfect.
not to go with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yes.
I'm just I lean against the hallway wall and do that thing that the gun-toting characters do where they inspect their weapon, and I just don't say anything. I'm just cleaning something, or that thing that the loading animation, like gun slinger.
Like unassembling it, reassembling it.
Yeah.
It's a very complex animation. You walk inside the visual terminals, the room that is all just a view screen above you. Update is in the chair and sort of like sits up and walks over to you. His very long, spindly forms, his like sort of poorly oiled and very untaken care of armature, just like comes over to you. The cables, sort of some loose cables, like hanging out. He looks as scrawny as you can imagine a robot to look. Okay. Like, picks up something from a pile of stuff on the floor. Give me a second. And, like, loads something up on another monitor, and you see, like, a loading, like, wheel sort of pop up on a screen. In a script, it takes you a moment to sort of read it, and it's all kind of in binary. And you recognize it's, like, saying updating, like, uploading program. Okay. Here you go. And he hands you the disk. Or like a small sort of data chip.
I have an arm thing I can just slide in.
Oh God.
Are you all right? What the
But
hell?
it's like a small gust of steam bursts out from like that's fine. Just squeaky wheels, you know. Haven't greased the old armature in a while.
Thank you for what you've done.
I am still working. I had to pause on the whole communication things with Morva and have been working mostly on that virus. But now that that's all done, I'm going to get right back to figuring out how to talk to your lovely little AI core.
How long do you think it will take?
Maybe a tritium hour.
How long is a tritium hour?
It's an Earth hour. It's 58 minutes, technically. Oh, not tritium, sorry. A
12
nobilium
hours.
hour.
Oh.
A nobilium hour.
And you will
hour.
communicate to us as soon as you finish.
I will work on getting it done as fast as I can. Just don't get yourself thrown off the planet in the meantime, and I'll send you a message.
No promises, but we'll try.
Well, then I can't promise being able to contact you. Seems fair?
Yes.
You don't like me very much.
I don't like anyone who thinks life is a joke.
I really just wanted to quote Stephen Hawking right there, and that seemed like a poor form thing to do. Because I've seen that quote on Twitter a lot. You know, sometimes you've just gotta laugh at things, or it's real sad.
It is real sad.
It's okay to not be sad all the time. I made a concrete decision to not be sad all the time. To find joy in things that others may not find joy in. To create. To experiment. To try. And sometimes to fail.
I don't agree with what you did. I understand where you came from, but I think you need to take ownership over the life that you may or may not have created.
Alright, well have fun when you meet a bunch of organics and they're just popping out babies all over the place that they don't care about.
Do you think you're better than them?
No, not at all.
Do you think
But
you're
I don't
worse than
think
them?
I'm any worse.
What do you think of yourself?
I live here. I enjoy what I do. I make things. And sometimes I make things wrong. And sometimes I don't. Sometimes grand experiments come back to me in ways I could never have fathomed. And other times, my viruses get updated and they're gone forever. And sometimes I get to work on projects like this one, where I can disseminate information to an entire sector. I think if I get to Echo Prime, I could disseminate to multiple sectors at a time. But I'm not very good at moving around outside of this room.
Have you ever thought about updating your body?
What's wrong with it?
I think you know what's wrong with it.
It's old. I like it. You're shiny. Very shiny.
Yes.
Almost blinding. Have you considered pants?
Yeah. Good job, Lauren.
I really don't like wearing clothes in general, but I feel some is better than less.
Do you feel like you're making those people uncomfortable?
I think it's important to me to understand what those around me feel, even if I don't comprehend it myself.
That must happen when you spend time around people.
Yes. They are interesting.
Okay, so let me know if you, I'll let you know when Morva's back, and, let me know if you ever want to go to Echo Prime.
What would be there for me?
Whole lot of AIs, and some BIs, and real big mainframe. Just depends on how big a message you want to send. Okay, gotta get back to work. Bye-bye now. He sits back down in the chair.
Thank you, Arthur. Walk out.
Did you get it?
I did.
Well then, let's go.
To the core of Echo Spot.
So what I'm saying is I get that the left one is a slightly bigger tower. Like I totally see, I mean, I can't see, but it's bigger.
It's bigger.
But like, I think the more important thing is to damage the one that is older. It looks like it's gonna glitch a little bit more. A little less boom, a little bit more yada
They're standing
yada.
in the middle of a plaza. Ziana's behind them, and they're discussing which one of the relay stations that they can see.
Please tell me you're
they
at
wanna
least
blow
having
up.
this conversation mentally.
No, like that's not how grifting works.
That is not how grifting works.
About 2 seconds into this conversation, Ziana will mentally be like, "We are all telepathically linked. Please stop having this conversation in public."
I like the way my voice sounds in my ears. Me.
Yeah, me too. But really, she's got a good point. And I think you're right. We should go for that one. Plus, I think that those wires are going to be a little easier to tap. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't work from this distance.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No, I like the idea. Like imagine if you could tap them from here. You could break both towers.
I mean, imagine how awesome that would be. I could just hold up my hands and then all of a sudden crash both towers.
We're decided then. And are you already on her back?
Yeah.
Excellent. Ziana starts walking.
So you are headed to the
Older
tower. Okay. So you're essentially walking towards, I guess a kind of updated version of a cell tower is basically what you're going to be heading towards, sort of like satellite towers. It's a little bit more contained than just a straight up cell tower, and there's not so much wiring, but you can sense there is a lot of communication signal coming in and out. Oh, little pupper.
She's just a little hot.
Oh, toasty pupper.
It's okay.
And you approach it. Go ahead and everybody, as you're walking up, give me a perception and wisdom. Or notice and wisdom. Of the tower. Yeah.
We need to just get you some glasses. I think Ziana just needs a pair of glasses.
It's hard role playing without your glasses. It really is.
Actually, my prescription is not that, it's not that
But what
much.
about Ziana's?
Oh yeah.
Ziana just has a lot going on, alright? But I rolled really well.
You did!
Things are rough for her right now.
9.
9. Okay, 9.
Yeah, she's got a lot on her brain right
10?
now, to be
I hate
honest.
suits.
7?
It's just like big muffles.
Yeah. It's hard for you. The sound travels weirdly here because the atmosphere is different, but it's also not like space, so you don't really know what to do.
I just want to break stuff.
We're about to.
I'm looking forward to what you're going to do to break this.
Did we bring paint?
No!
I don't
We're not painting anything.
That's kind of like a.
So
big
as you
problem.
approach,
Where's that no
Thea and Ziana would notice. Actually, at this point, I'm going to start giving you penalties where if you're talking to Kika, you have to roll 3 dice and take the lower 2.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what's going to happen if you start staying so distracted. Ziana and Thea would notice there doesn't appear to be any personal security. It's not guarded. You would sort of spot what definitely appears to be a couple of cameras. They're not particularly well disguised, but sort of almost like drones essentially that are sort of hovering in an area and kind of do a sweep of an area and just monitor with a camera just to kind of keep a picture of what's going on. You've seen them around in general, so whether they are connected to an AI or anything like that, you're not really sure. So there's sort of drone-like surveillance that's going on. It's a fairly like monolithic kind of block tower made out of just sort of like sections of steel kind of built into. You're on more of the surface of the planet, so there's rocky areas, but it's not like you're built into cave walls the way you were when you go into the asteroid meteor. Asteroid's bigger. When you go into it and like things are built into the walls. So here it's a lot more just like a block of sort of steel with these kind of drones flying around it. It appears that there is like a sort of a panel entrance. It's large enough that it can be like a work entrance, like some reasonable sized machinery could get in there, but nothing like truck-like. So it's kind of essentially more double doors-esque. You would imagine the inside is essentially going to be a mixture of like wiring and things like that. You do see sort of sections of wiring and antenna and things sort of kind of sticking off of the monolith, but nothing like significant to change the exterior shape.
And I would know that in order to
It's
do
octagonal. It's an octagonal monolith because I like that.
all of this side.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would know that I need to get inside to do the hacking.
Yeah.
And you said that the drones have cameras when they're moving. So in other words, if we pause long enough, we can identify what their pace is and catch them in between the pace.
Yeah, so a couple of potential options with the drones. Either you could take out an individual drone in whatever way it is you choose to do that, and that would sort of clear a path for a period of time before someone attempts to repair a drone or send in a new one. Depending on how you take out the drone, it depends on how much suspicion you'd raise. Or alternatively, yeah, it will be harder to successfully sneak past by just watching the drones and kind of trying to look for an entrance, but potentially raising less suspicion if you do it that way.
Well, I mean, we want suspicion to be raised here, so.
Not suspicion on us, just in general.
Right, but we just need to watch and make sure.
Well,
that
we
Because
also-
the people with guns aren't here. You know, ranged weapons that could take out flying objects.
Excuse
We also-
me, bow and arrow, like it's on.
Bow and arrow.
So we also only want to raise suspicion at the time that we want it raised so that we can get out of here. Without them knowing it's us.
True.
So sneaking in, I think, would be a better option.
I gotta sneak you in.
I can sneak myself in. What are you going to do, Thea? Put me in a bag?
I don't know. I didn't anticipate this part of it, so.
I have definitely been snuck
really
in
should
somewhere in a bag. And it worked
To be
very
fair,
well.
yeah, she fits really well. You'd be surprised. You get a good duffel.
While they're doing this, Ziana is watching drones.
Backpack. I prefer
Trying
backpack.
to...
yeah.
Okay, this is going to be intelligence and notice to track the passage of the drones.
Oh no.
Oh, I have a 0 and a 1, so actually no negatives this time.
Oh, because your wisdom's worse than your intelligence.
Yeah. So, yeah, when I do wisdom and notice, they cancel each other out.
Oh.
Which is still better, because otherwise you get a straight up negative.
8.
You start tracking them. They seem to be relatively randomized, and that's kind of the first thing that you figure out is individual drones, if they are operating on a path, it's probably multiple paths, so it's going to take a while to fully get them down. You may struggle to do this from memory alone.
All right.
Potentially need to take video or track it in some other way.
Is there any way... Can you interface with a system near here that would give us some kind of idea of where the drones are going? Maybe waylay one of them?
Would I have knowledge of a system nearby that I could do any sort of manipulation other than obviously the tower itself?
If you get close enough to a drone, you can straight up interface with a drone.
Oh yeah, because I got a hand.
Aren't they way up in the sky?
That's what I'm saying. If you get close enough to
Yeah.
a drone, they're in the air. You could there are probably buildings close enough that you could climb on top of to get your. I think I give you the range on it, but I think you have to be within a meter.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's range, but it's pretty close.
I'm sorry. You said there's buildings near it that we can climb on top of?
Yes.
And I can glide
meters.
down?
2 meters. So
I hate that you and I came up with the same thought.
it would be somewhat precarious, but yes. I mean, you could glide onto a drone. Yes, actually, that is a thing you could do.
No, I can glide and I can be the camera because I can see the drone movement.
No,
And just tell you when
no.
different plan. Kika's like talking to me like I can. There's a building and I can.
Can someone? What is it? Okay, out of character.
Yeah.
What does it take to place a line shunt?
I think anyone can place them.
So-
it's literally just knowing where to place it.
Okay, so back in
I
character.
know how to place a
So
line
back in
shunt.
character. Yes, that's the, mentally she conveys the message. Perhaps we could give Kika a line shunt. She could get up somewhere and then glide down and drop one on a drone.
And I can just power it down.
Or change its course or create a gap, something like that.
Right, and then power it down later. Yeah. I have a one-track mind
I
here.
think you need it'd be similar concept. You don't need a line term for that. I think it's like a data tap.
Oh.
Just a different USB.
I don't know how hacking works.
Yeah, it's essentially just.
You don't know how technology works, it seems, your character at least.
Is it a circle plug instead of a USB plug? Is it a USB 5 plug?
I think it's a data
USC.
swap.
Is
USB
it
plug.
just a bead that you get to drop onto something and then your expert back at the base just knows and
Yeah, you
interacts
just
with
do
it
this.
because she's a genius?
Yes, essentially, but with much less effectiveness because there are no geniuses in this group.
We have no Shuri, but we've got a Thea and we're gonna make it work.
Give me the thing. Give me the.
Hey, all right. She grabs onto Thea by the foot before you take
Okay.
off. Look at me.
Okay.
Be quiet. Be safe. Drop the tap and get out. Try not to be seen, and then just come back. Don't make anything hum. Don't gnaw on anything. Don't change the plan. Unless it's to avoid detection.
No purring.
None.
Not right now.
All right.
I need to know that you're taking
I can-
this seriously.
It's our lives. I'll do it.
And she lets go of foot.
And like, just like, then gets down and just starts like, I have to like take the elevator up. Like, it's not very exciting. I have to just go to the apartment building next to
Is there music that's
take an
playing?
elevator.
And the music goes like,
Do 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 ding.
It's a Ron floor.
Well,
Someone walks in. Oh no, sorry, I meant down.
do 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 ding. And then you have to like climb the last flight of stairs
Sure.
to actually get to the roof. You're on the roof within gliding distance. To glide, I would like you to give me an exert and dexterity.
So, my foci is in glide.
Uh-huh.
That means I can do it.
Yes.
But
this
not
is not the
well.
gliding. This is about you landing on a drone.
Oh.
Because it's not like I'm gliding from a building to the floor, because there will be floor wherever you land. I expect you to be able to stick a landing from a reasonable distance. You are trying to land on a Roomba in the sky.
Is this a?
Or are you trying to land, or are you trying to like just like drive by?
I don't.
Okay, you need to land on it to
But it's
place
so
the
precision.
trap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just.
I mean, arguably, you could just land on it and then hack it without placing a tap.
I don't
on
know
it.
how big it is.
About the size of a Roomba. And
Cool.
you're-
That's a tiny. Like
You're probably gonna make it
because
sink a
that's
little
gonna
bit. Okay, so here you have some options.
Oh.
You can do a flyby.
Yeah.
You can do a glide by. That will make your for that one I will have you roll for the placement of the data tab.
Yeah.
Or the, line shot. I don't know. Whatever. I'm happy with
The
it being a line
plug.
shot. I'll have you spend one. It's basically a thing that will allow you to remotely access a drone.
okay.
Because I will say, like, typically speaking, things either need wired access or you would need to, like, hack into their wireless network and then get into the drone. So this will allow you to connect directly to the drone without as much risk.
Maybe it's a modified data tap with a.
Probably like a...
I tweaked it a little bit,
Yeah.
so now it connects with my.
I need to
hand
double check
interface.
which on the list of things it is, but I'm... Whatever. If it's not in the system, it is now.
Thank you for rolling with
It
our
connects.
weird idea.
This involves someone landing on a drone. Why would I not roll with this?
So it's a modified data tap that connects into, or a line shunt that connects into my data tap.
Yeah.
So this is not a combat roll, correct?
No.
So I can, if I
horribly roll, I can try
It's a skill roll.
again.
So, do you want to do a flyby or do you want to attempt to land on it and place it? Because it's basically you're going to roll for either landing on it or you're going to roll for flybying placing.
What are the skills for both of those?
I would
Like,
say for
none at
landing
once.
on it, I would do dexterity and probably exert.
Mm-hmm.
For placing it, I would do. In either case, I think your base skill is going to be dexterity, but I would probably do like dexterity and program.
Cool. I got program level 1.
Okay.
So I
For
think
trying to fly by placement.
Yeah, so I'm going to be very clear. My goal is not to be graceful. It's gonna be the soar.
I think in both cases, I'm going to have you roll as well to see how you stick the landing. or
Yeah,
not.
yeah. It's gonna be soar, kind of do this, and then drop. And like, it should be fine.
I think you're just
Just
trying,
like-
you're gonna try and like barrel
Have
roll
you-
as you
have
get
you-
next to it. Okay.
Have you
Tell
seen
me more. Tell me
bats try to land on small things? It's a lot of this.
It's hilarious.
more. Roll it. Roll them bones.
Well, if I'm using program
And dexterity.
and dex, I will have 9. But is that? You know what? I'm gonna take the 9. I'm gonna take the 9. Take the 9, Bob.
Okay. So you see this. You eventually see Kika like on the edge of a roof. A Roomba. To say Roombas now. I'm sorry.
Remote operating orbital.
Orbital. Maintenance.
Automation.
No, it's got to be B.
Maintenance maintenance.
I think
Bot
it's
version A.
bot A. Yes. Ariel. Oh, Ariel. Yeah. Maintenance bot Ariel. Like
Yeah, 'cause
version
there's
A
ground.
stands for
Yeah.
Ariel. Yeah.
So there's
Oh, yeah.
room G.
As opposed to
Room
terrestrial.
Yeah.
Roomta. Roomta.
Okay.
Excellent. I've got to write this down.
Yep, that was good. That was good.
Okay.
Sorry, Willa.
So we'll try and remember that for later. You swoop. You have a line shot in your hand. You attempt to barrel roll and trying to sort of like curve yourself
Yeah.
around it to place this line shunt on as you go down, but you get tangled up in this drone.
Good.
And you enough that you start falling, and you
Sure.
are actively falling while holding onto
Sure.
a drone that is trying to actively lift.
Sure. this
What
is
do you
fine.
do?
Okay, so I'm
You
on
have
it.
not placed this line shot.
But here's the thing, I'm on it.
You are on it.
You know what? This reminds me of what I wanted to do with Kika, where
I want to point out right now the camera on it really can't see anything.
Yeah, it's just like,
except
what- there's a
brown and black. And whatever's on your shirt.
what bird? What bird that like stalks?
You see this in the sky.
And just sort of crosses her arms. She's like, need help?
No. Out loud.
She's got this. She's got this.
Okay.
What do you do?
I'm gonna take a breath,
Okay.
and I'm going to like just do like one of, you know what it was? The line shunt was in the wrong direction. I'm gonna do a rotate of the line shunt and then put it in the same hole.
Oh, it's like the USB. You have to turn it like 3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It doesn't matter how it's always wrong.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3.
again.
I don't.
It's like you do it twice and you're like, one of those ways was supposed to work, but no.
They're made of magic.
And
Cursed.
in this case, because I'm analyzing, I am taking a risk that I will not be able to do it again. I'm taking the moment. I would like to use my fix roll instead of my hack roll. You're not gonna let me do that.
I will. I think it's still programmed to
programmed.
place the line shot, but I will say you can use intelligence instead of dexterity.
That would be
However,
lovely.
you will take a larger risk of falling.
Yeah,
straight
that
out of
makes
the sky.
sense. That makes sense. I'm taking a moment. I'm literally breathing. The wind
Yeah.
is rushing by. Like I hear the in the ears. Which is
Actually, what you feel also is like the jets from the Roomba just like onto your chest because of how you are gripping onto it.
sure.
You're spinning a lot too. Okay. $12.
10. Just
10.
Just
Okay,
10.
10.
Just 10. Don't go crazy on me.
That will do it. However, you're falling now.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
You like take the moment, you like have to let go. and then you place it in, hook it up,
You get the beep.
and then you're like, as the Roomba just like goes and lifts off from the ground because you sort of let go of it and
Yeah.
your rings are no longer wrapped around it, and you are now falling. Give me a saving throw, a evasion saving throw.
Can
Okay.
Can anyone do
Theo
a
would
catch
like
check?
run and try to like dive catch her.
You're gonna have to beat Ziana.
All right. Those of you trying to catch her, give me an exert and strength.
Have fun with that.
yeah, there's no way.
My evasion is a D20 or 2D6?
It's a D20.
Okay.
Did it?
18.
Oh.
That'll do it.
Because I had
You-
3, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you add your 3. So you roll it, and you guys are diving in. What did you get?
I got a 7.
7, 10. You just push her out of the way. You're like, I think I got you. And as you are falling, you're just like, oh. And you flip over and just open your wings, and the air catches you. And you sort of slowly circle glide your way back down and just kind of land in Ziana's waiting arms.
It's like riding a hover skateboard. It just, you always remember.
Are you alright?
Yep.
Yeah, my pride.
Did you do it?
Classy.
Yeah.
Oh
you got
yeah,
the
she
beep,
did.
right?
Right.
Yep.
On the back.
Don't let me bet again for a little bit. Like,
Are you kidding? That was amazing.
like, just like, there's a lot of
you were like a super, you were like a goddess.
Can
you
we
were
please
just
get
like,
back
you
on
were
task?
Meep, yes, Captain.
It's got.
Her ears fell off.
It's too hard.
So now that they have a clear path toward the tower, well, no, they don't. So I
Don't,
need to
you
I need
just
to hack
have
into
a
it.
you just have a drone now.
I just have a drone. I have a drone.
You have a drone. Yes.
So-
I'm going to point out you are trying to. If you're thinking about stealing this drone, I'm going to give you the risks. It is
Okay.
owned
Thank you.
by the collective.
Okay.
You know, a group of virtual intelligences.
Okay.
Who are way better at programming than you are.
Okay. Is that the?
I don't
is that
think
the
that's
only
going to
risk?
stop Thea, but I just wanted to point out those risks.
Okay. Hey, Captain.
Yes.
I'm just gonna hack it and tell it to go over there into the alley where it won't be spotted by the other flight patterns.
Just change the flight pattern. Offset it by a few seconds to give us a window.
Just I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
It doesn't have to go into an alley.
It's 13
13. You successfully rewrite its flight pattern
into the alley.
Into the alleyway. You see this Roomba just go and just start flying into an alleyway. And it's a short alleyway, so it's just as it's bumping into the back wall for a little while. Do you try and do anything else with your drone?
I don't want it to shut down, but I want it to kind of freeze. I don't want to damage the drone.
Okay, so it hovers in place for a little while.
For reasons.
For reasons.
So it's taken care of, Captain.
For the rest of the show, you have to make that noise.
Yeah. As long as the drone is in screen.
Liz would like to apologize to Sarah. Ziana looks very unhappy. However, I'm assuming we now have an opening to get
You do.
through. And proceeds towards the tower.
Okay. With that, we will transition to our base, our mainframe group. As you are actually conveniently going straight from updates gets you a lot closer. If actually probably even without asking, update will send you an updated map. Here it sends you a carroted map, actually with little carrots on it, being like, here's where you want to go. It's an auditory map. You're welcome. They were trying to accommodate Kika.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very thoughtful.
The phrase, this is where you want to go, is incredibly helpful when you can't see directions.
I think chat's remembering drunken dronettes. And no, we don't have drunken anymore because that was Conrad's.
Oh, now I remember.
And now
Drunken
he's
Dronut.
dead.
He's so dead.
Well, no, he mysteriously went down a pit staircase followed by 2 mysterious guards.
Many mysterious
guards.
Not
you might
all
be dead.
mysterious guards.
So you are kind of continuing within the labyrinthian area. Eventually, you're going to reach what probably looks, from initial perception, some sort of dead end. So go ahead and roll me a notice and wisdom.
Okay.
11.
11. You're convinced this is probably a dead end.
Are you
It's like a
sure?
metal plate in the wall.
This is where he said for us to go. This is nothing. There's nothing here.
You are able to recognize that this is it's a pretty high, like not a high, like it's essentially a wall, but beyond that is where you want to go, and it is, from what you can tell, not massively structurally sound, but would involve some amount of physical effort to move it. Or you can take a long way and go back out. But this would get you closer to where you want to go based on the schematics that he gave you.
Where we need to go is on the other side of this wall. It is structurally unsound. We could go around. It would take some time and...
Rachel, holds up her laser pistol, and it's just like, or...
Ashley pulls out his gun. Or...
You guys can hit a wall, so go ahead and just roll me straight damage.
Okay, so damage is...
I think it's your 2d6 on your guns. Unless you
So
go
we're
something different.
will a thermal pistol or laser pistol doesn't matter in terms of its effect on the wall?
You don't know yet, for sure. It is essentially a metal plate. So as far as I know, thermal pistols, I think they work the same on...
It's just the
I killed
distance?
the wall.
I think it's just the distance that they work
Okay,
Did
all
you
right
really?
then.
I killed the wall.
I get deal the wall 5 damage.
Okay.
I got, so is it +5 then? Is that what mine is?
No,
Is
no,
that-
no.
It's
It's
plus
damage?
whatever your damage is, which is normally plus...
Mine's +1.
It's-
The
Oh.
to hit is +5.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I got boxcars and then whatever this is plus.
Okay.
I killed the wall.
Fire a sizable shot, but then what happens is Ashley hits the exact same spot that Rachel does. Rachel's like, bam, bam, bam. It's like a solid, you're standing pretty close to it, but like far enough away. And Ashley is like, yes, and just targets the exact same point. And you get to what essentially looks, you create a small enough hole that you could fit like a hand or an arm through. Enough that you can kind of get a look onto the other side, and you sort of created a sizable welded hole in the side of this wall. And from what you can tell, it's a relatively sort of thin, like, steel plate. Someone was just like, we need to block up that hole. It's like, the riffraff, keep getting through. But no one really cared enough about it, because no one lives down here.
Right. Okay.
Where's the radiation at? By the levels? Are we
Right now,
close
it's
enough?
fine,
We're
as far
Okay.
as you can tell.
Okay.
You have not traversed into any area where power generating is happening.
Don't laugh at that. Don't
Good shot.
judge them.
Same. Yeah. You're just gonna. Okay.
I'm just going to try to pry the wall as much space as I can.
Wow.
It's like watching me RP. Like, this is great.
Give me strength and exert.
No. Where's strength at? Where's exert at?
Strength is the top, and exert is
A skill.
A skill.
It's the third one in the left column.
Oh, that's not good.
So if you don't have the skill, you take a -1 to your roll.
9.
9. You get.
Wait, I thought if a 0 counts as no.
Yeah, if you have a level
You
0,
have a
then,
zero,
then,
That's
then
no
it counts as
penalty.
having
Okay,
a
cool.
skill.
Yeah, then
there's
9.
if the box is blank. So you get hands in there and you sort of start prying it open. As you do, do you want to look inside or you just want to go for it?
I would think enough to just peek my shiny metal head in.
You get enough in. Do you peek your shiny metal head in?
I do.
And as you you look in and glance around, it's another tunnel that continues going, but you see it sort of open up and widen into a much larger space. That is where you see kind of like almost grading steps or like platforms built into the side of the wall, and they sort of seem to go into what you would imagine are fairly large mainframes, essentially. They're kind of like servos, basically like kind of lined up on these platforms going into this kind of carved out hole into the wall. Beyond that, the room keeps going around to one side, and you sense the sound changing in that area. Go ahead and roll me Notice and Wisdom.
11.
So it's pretty far, the direction that you're going. You think you see something that might be some sort of fork
and down that end is where the sound is coming from. It's kind of this low, resonant hum, kind of deep noise. It's almost below any sort of human hearing. Kika would be able to perceive it, but for you, it's like your body is vibrating with it. And you definitely sense that's where the power generator is coming from. That's going to be the worst area of the radiation. That's the, like, meet people, don't go there, and that would actually have some sort of impact on you, like direct exposure to that much radiation.
That's where we need to go, or?
You think you need to kind of skirt past that and go around to the side of where you saw these sort of raised, these like racked platforms in essence.
Can radiation harm, like, computer parts?
If it's strong enough,
if it's strong enough, yes.
Radiation can pretty much harm anything if it's strong enough.
Yeah, so it's kind of, they have a more of a inbuilt, like, vac suits will protect you from low-level radiation. AIs can be protected from, like, moderate-level radiation, depending on the type of radiation. There's
Except for I
plenty of
cannot
variations.
protect Ashley at all.
No, you cannot. They do not have
Are there
a
any
psionic
security
interface.
measures that I can notice, or that I missed?
Not from this distance.
Okay.
In the immediate like area where you are, and if the two of you continue working on it, you're no telekinetics, but you can eventually kind of pry away enough that you can sort of squeeze your way in.
Yeah, when Ashley
you're not like
pauses
7
to
foot.
look, I'm like, do you need a hand?
I think I know where we must go. Rachel,
Yeah?
I know you said you don't have trouble with radiation, but I want you to know,
Huh?
if you do feel concerned, please take care of yourself.
Yeah. I do that.
I know,
Pretty good at it.
and you are.
You too. I mean, like, I don't know, you're not made of weak flesh like us humans, but like, I don't know, you're not impervious to harm, so, and she just like kind of mumbles on about like, so you could get hurt, I guess, like, I just, you know, like.
Ashley just puts his hand on her shoulder. Well, his head's still inside, just kind of, I'm assuming his head's still inside this whole time. Just kind of puts,
Yeah. Yes. You're just,
What
you
can
just see shiny
Can you
metal
say that
ass.
one more time into the mic?
I understand. Is that good? Is it good for you?
I don't know. Did they hear it?
What's that
I feel
good
like
for
no
you?
one's ever gonna have trouble hearing my voice. I'm very loud.
No, I think you need to up it. Like I.
Okay.
Yeah, this is.
Sorry,
good.
everyone.
I'm sorry.
That's
Anna,
Claudia's fault. She egged me
specifically.
on.
I will actually take one.
All right, so like, yeah, then we can attempt to like both. Do you want me to roll to?
I think unless you guys want to
Time.
do it particularly quickly, we'll say it'll probably take you a few minutes.
I think we're fairly confident that there's a distraction that's going to be happening. So
Go ahead and
Yeah.
give me a roll and we'll see how fast it happens.
And just the strength or the
Yeah, strength and exert.
9.
9.
8.
8. Ashley forgets at first to pull his head out while he is attempting to tear this. And there's a moment he remembers, he pulls his head out, and like the two of you kind of grab each side, like sort of leverage your whole body, and eventually just start. You probably like break out some sort of tool, maybe even using like
Yeah.
rifle or
I
something,
can use
like
the
some
butt
tool.
of a rifle because they're probably built very strongly,
Yeah,
and
and
just
just
like
sort of
lever action.
leverage that, and you eventually will get it open. It will not take you longer to do that than it did for them to trap the drone.
Cool. No, we took a lot.
So your
Elevators are slow.
Your timing is fairly precise, and so as you enter, kind of like sidle your way into this small hallway, you can begin progressing forward, and I'll give you another notice roll as you get further into it. But we'll do that after the break. So I think it's time for us to take a break.
What?
Break?
No.
So yeah.
How could I already
great.
just?
I was like,
You're gonna hack?
I know. I was all ready to hack stuff.
I mean,
And
it's
also-
already like
just-
halfway through the thing. Yeah.
To those of you who are having continuity error discussions in the chat, I just want to say, just because we can't breathe, it doesn't mean there aren't gases that she could have glided on. In order
Oh,
to,
there's
you know,
totally.
There's atmosphere. It's also not 0G, so you don't have to use the boots. I don't remember. I think the question might be if we clarified if you have like space for gliding.
It's a.
It wasn't so much.
Yeah.
Like, I was
It was
like,
about-
there might be a little bit of a conflict.
There's totally a
It's
vac
thin-
suit
it's
customized
thin,
to
like I've already
gliding.
got
Do
a
you
back
mind?
suit that can
That's a
let
space
me
bag.
Oh yeah, no.
That's a space bag.
While we're
Yeah,
reading
I
information.
know that my ears have certain speakers so I can
Yeah.
hear. Like, there's definitely
There are accommodations, so
Yeah, so
I
I'm
don't
assuming like tricos, get
Like, you can't
membranes that are just very
glide
thin.
in 0G, but I don't remember what we clarified. You've probably gotten an upgrade on your suit.
I assume
You've
my
had time
suit
to work
has
on it.
very thin membrane that could still like if there's any amount of atmosphere.
Yeah.
Guys, like we're very much science. I'm the science light corner. I'm the diet science
Yeah.
of the table.
Fine.
All of this is incredibly.
Hey. High five.
And was it cool? Walk away with that. Like that's how I
Yeah.
kind of play
Just
games.
remember her clinging onto the side
I
of
don't
it.
think anyone was pressed.
And then
I thought it was funny.
I apologize if I messed up continuity, but like it
No,
was cool.
you're fine.
cool.
It,
It
it
was
was
cool.
cool.
I don't care enough. Also, to be clear, Roomba is a remote operating orbital maintenance bot dash aerial.
Yeah, and then there's a room.
Yeah, remote operating orbital maintenance bot terrestrial.
Yeah. The aquatic one was confusing because that was A as well, and they just called it room.
Yeah, Roomba. Roomba.
I'm also gonna leave.
Okay. All right, so let us read out donations because thank you so much,
Yeah.
everybody, for all of your donations. Our first one came before we were live, so I'm going to read out that one. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here, for watching, for enjoying, and for sharing and doing all these wonderful things. We truly appreciate all of you.
Can you mention now with the two
Yes.
goal split thing, talk about that and mention that offline donations now count for
Yes.
So we can do that.
Aha! Aha! Oh, Roomba, Roombu, underwater.
Underwater.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
What
Okay.
if the water's on top?
Okay, so just as a reminder, we have 2 weekly donations, and because we split our weekly expenses, essentially everything that is not covered by our Patreon, into 2 weekly amounts that we are raising for during each of our shows, and that one allows us to also track offline donations as going for it, because we're not funding specific shows, we are funding our overall weekly expenses, which includes paying our cast, but also paying the people who work behind the scenes, because they are incredibly important, although arguably sometimes our behind the scenes people are in front of the scenes people.
Hi.
Get off of the table! Get behind the scenes!
Fine. Oh, it won't come back next week.
So we do track offline donations as well, so we'll basically read them out in the next time we read out donations on stream. So, for example, this one came from G. Bailey, $100.
Whoa.
It came at what was like 5:30 in the morning for us, so
Sleepy time.
really enjoying the shows you put on. Always look forward to the VODs when I get back from work. Oh, cheers! I think they might be British. I should have read it like this.
Cheerio.
Cheerio!
Cavalry's here.
Cheers, love! The cavalry's here!
Hey, governor.
I like
All
right.
Sausage.
William _TW with $25. Can't wait to see how this run unfolds. And I get 2 hours of live watching too.
We
Yay,
see you in
daylight
there.
savings time.
So nice to see you in chat.
Go the fuck to sleep.
Oh shit.
Theater nerd with $100. Thank you. Well, things are so great. Things are so great for me, but I'm sure they will get better, especially now that Leviathan is on. I think there might be a missing word in there. That's okay. Here's to another great episode.
Yay! Cheers. Thank you.
Nathalion with $10. Levi762 with $25. Update or carrot D4T3 has things figured out. I actually want to know how it would be read by the robot voice.
Okay, Ra, who's...
Jordan Wynn with $10. Get your AI some pants.
You can buy $10 pants.
You know what? I am team
I gave up all my money to the cause.
pantsless whenever possible.
Thank you.
So,
Hashtag no
Thank you. Can I have a high five on that one? Thank
Hashtag
you.
no pants.
Kiki doesn't wear pants. We pay the canon.
Oh.
They're just like super yoga pants.
I imagine they
Is
use
the
the
janitorial
red cords
model.
to like hold them up.
Gritty Weasley with $10. Sad I'm missing out on the show live, but I have plans to go back and play catch up on the last 2 episodes when I have free time. Free time is good. In the meantime, please accept this tip because I love the Geek Space cast, crew, and community.
Oh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next is Void Smoker with $25. Thanks for the weekly diversion operation of my dreary central core.
We're
You're very talented and we love you.
My diversion, team distraction.
Troll Flare with $20. I just had the mental image of Kika in the elevator humming along as she went up the elevator on her hijack drone mission. Awesome. I just like the little. Oh, is it the Ica song that's playing?
That's the only song we can afford on this show.
I feel like the AI people would not be playing the Ica song.
They really want to be part of Ica. So
Yeah, they
This is
actually
part of
might
their-
be
Oh,
because
yeah, please
they,
tell me
like,
how my people feel.
they're like fan botting.
Are you really part of Echo, though? Are you really? Do you belong there?
I don't belong anywhere.
Oh, me either.
Sad times on the subject. Yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. We're gonna go take a quick break. Go get yourself some water and a snack, and stand up and go to the bathroom and do all those wonderful things. And we will be right back.
Lay on the floor.
But eat a dinosaur.
Everyone likes that.
Do it some more.